You're with Clement Manyathela.
702.
All right, so we've been having a conversation on the 702 open line around this issue of petrol, different grades of petrol, diesel as well, because a number of you have visited petrol stations and you've been raising concerns about, the possibilities of certain grades also running out. So there are concerns ranging from supply disruptions, refinery challenges, there are logistical delays as well that could affect the availability of petrol and diesel across parts of the country. So we did sort of a temperature check on the 702 open line this morning, and a lot of people, there were one or two who called in and said, in our area, we haven't experienced such challenges, but most of you called in to say, I have picked up that diesel has dramatically increased at certain petrol stations. You've picked up that some petrol stations are not selling diesel. They're rationing it, possibly because they want to make an extra buck the next day or whenever they see maybe the uptick in the price of diesel. Some of you have raised concerns that certain grades of petrol are not there. But the point we got just from the calls we received from you on the open line is that there seems to be panic buying that's setting in. So should you panic? Do you have reason to panic? What are the authorities telling us? What is the industry telling us? We've invited Avhapfani Tshifularo, who is the chief executive at the Fuels Industry Association of South Africa, to just help us understand, what we should do next, because it looks like a lot of people are concerned. Avhapfani, thank you so much for making time for us. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement.
Yeah, there seems to be some concern from a number of motorists about should they be panic buying, should they not? Government told us last week no reason to worry. What have you seen as an industry over the last day or a couple of days?
So let me just start from the conversation with you last weekend, the DG of Mineral and Petroleum Resources. I think what we were attempting to do was to give assurance to South Africans that, at least based on what we have in front of us, the numbers that we see, we were confirming that, the national fuel supply remains stable, and that still remains the case up to today. We can see there's adequate availability of all petroleum products across the country, and the imports, particularly for the month of April, those have been firmed up. So we are very confident about the April as well, with May and June still currently being finalized. So from the importation of crude oil and products into the country, we are not seeing a problem whatsoever. And when it comes to the issue of panic buying, definitely that we are seeing like an increase in the number of service stations that are reporting to be dry. If we compare like the numbers for the let's say past 2 weeks, we can see a drastic increase in terms of the service stations that are reporting being dry, particularly for diesel. And what happens, Clement, is that at a local level, depending on where you get supplied from and the distance between your depots and the actual service station, the time it takes to replenish, it will always lead to hours where a service station might be dry on one grade of fuel. And this is not abnormal. So we, on monthly basis, if prices are going up by several cents per liter, let's say anything above 10, 15 cents, we always see this rush. But the only difference now is that the magnitude of the anticipated increase is really making more people to panic. But there's sufficient fuel. Of course, there will always be restrictions. Remember, the supply chain is catered for in terms of available road tankers. There are limited road tankers that you have, which you match the supply chain under normal circumstances. You can access additional road tankers, but you are not going to match this kind of demand that we're seeing right now.
Yeah. So how do we then get people to relax? I mean, I don't know if we're seeing an over communication from the part of government. I know we spoke to the DG last week. A number of interviews I've seen that the government has done. But how do we get people then to believe you as industry and government when they say there's no reason to panic? And maybe let me put it up as this question, Avhapfani, because this is a question that came up on the open line. There are some listeners who are worried about certain petrol stations that are either hogging, rationing diesel because they want to wait for the prices to go up so that they can sell it, and make an extra buck. Is that something that you are seeing from the reports you're getting on the ground? Number one, and two, what can we do then, as the motorists, if we realize that that's what we're picking up at certain petrol stations?
Yeah, so look, you can't completely rule out, operators who will take, advantage of the situation and hoard like fuel. But generally, remember, a service station is operating within a community. So you are a trusted supplier in that particular community where you operate. So you can't take short-term, decisions that is going to undermine your own reputation. Generally, the service station has got no means of holding fuel because, how are you going to do that? Because there's just so much competition on one street, in South Africa. So if you going to take a decision not to sell because you want to gain additional 5-6 rand on let's say 50,000 liters that you might have, but your competitors is not gonna necessarily do that. He's gonna want to push volumes. So I find it very difficult because there's so much competition in South Africa in terms of service station. So even if you attempt to hoard your fuel, you are not gonna succeed because your competitors are gonna sell and they're gonna gain volumes.
Mm-hmm. And to what extent are the fuel issues then linked to global factors versus the local challenges as we speak now? Because you're saying we're okay for April, a bit of May. What they're trying to work on now is around June and maybe July as well. We got someone from the trucking industry call us earlier who says there's not a lot of issues in terms of local supply. The problem is the bulk supply, because even at the harbor, because those ships, when they were let go, they were taken out under a different pricing. So now you have to start looking as to what the current pricing is, which may then bring about delays. And as far as bulk supply is concerned, is that what you're picking up as well?
Yeah, I don't know what is it. I heard that call, but remember the bulk suppliers. You are typically looking at actually the supply to service station is bulk because you deliver it in
yes,
probably 36,000 or whatever. So then you've got commercial customers who also receive product in bulk, like the mines, the farmers and all those kind of people. So we have been having a conversation with at least farmers. And we have not get a sense that, there is limited, bulk supply. People were complaining about the prices that's been asked because people will have incurred this additional cost for the product that will be coming now. But the thing is that if there is a shortage for bulk, it can't be only restricted there. It will automatically be manifested in the retail level. So that is not what we are picking. But Clement, this thing is going to be resolved. Come the midnight tomorrow, we'll all be going back to our normal senses because it will be very clear there's no shortage of product. Yes, what was going to happen, we're going to have extreme pressure in terms of service station. They might be on the 1st of April, take much longer to be replenished. But we are very confident even for the month of May and June. All that is there is just to make sure that, there's confirmation in terms of import, vessels, when they are coming. But we are not worried about that at all.
Oh, okay. So I'm trying to now figure out how do we avoid a crisis that then gets generated by us as consumers, as motorists, because now yes, we hear what you're saying as industry, we hear what government is saying, but there seems to be a mismatch because the motorists, many of them are concerned on the ground. So, and that concern and the panic buying may end up then creating the challenges we're trying to avoid. So, what's your message to the motorists out there? What do you think can be done even by government and industry to try and stabilize the situation so we avoid a full-blown crisis?
Yeah, I hear you, Clement. So our interview with you last week, we held, a media roundtable in conjunction with the department. We had something like, over 40 media, people there, and we were trying to really have a sober discussion about this, sharing as much as we can. But like you said, you can't over-communicate on something like this. People, they are panicking. They just somehow, maybe they are not seeing, what we are telling them. But I just want to try again. We are not worried at all as far as it comes to the supply of products in the country. There's adequate stock availability. Yes, what we are seeing is increased demand at service station level. And remember, when I say this thing is going to self-correct, because there are very few people who can use a full tank within 3 days. Because it means if you have visited the service station today, you are probably going to have that fuel for at least a week. So by then, this price adjustment will have passed, and everything should be normalized. And we'll all get fuel. We should not worry. We'll be able to drive to go and see our lovely ones. Over the Easter weekend, we will have enough fuel for everyone.
All right. I've got some questions coming from some of our listeners. Let's start with this one on WhatsApp, which says, "Hi, Clement. Please can you ask your guests why are they not getting fuel from African countries like Angola, Equatorial Guinea, Nigeria, Gabon, and North Africa?" That's a question there from Zagore.
So we get a lot of crude oil. Actually, Nigeria is our biggest supplier of crude oil, and then it's probably going to be followed by Ghana, Angola. We get a lot of crude oil, but there are very few refineries in the continent. The only big refinery that we have is Dangote in Nigeria, and I do understand that there's some cargo that are coming from Dangote, which has been secured. So we are trying all the available sources, where product is available to get product. But as far as crude oil, we are highly dependent on the continent. We get very little, crude oil from Middle East.
David, you are calling us from Park Ridge. Good morning.
Hi, Clement. My question to your guest is, since petrol is has got a regulated price or administered price, isn't that illegal to have a petrol in order to sell it at a higher price? Because this is a regulated product. For me, I think it should be illegal.
Okay, David, in Park Ridge. And in fact, Avhapfani, someone called in and said it's different when it comes to diesel because it's not as highly regulated as petrol. And that's why, petrol stations can decide to just hog it like that and decide on their own individual pricing. Can you clarify that for us, please?
That's correct. It will be illegal to sell petrol at a price, that is outside of the parameters that would have been announced by the Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources. You can't even discount petrol at a service station. That's illegal. So you sell it at the price that is announced by the Minister to say for a service station in Centurion, on this particular street, this is the price, that's the price. You can't discount or sell above it. For diesel, yes, your listener was correct. There is no regulation of diesel price either at wholesale or retail. So the service stations, owners, they can sell at whatever price they want. They can adjust price as they feel. I'm sure those who drive diesel cars, they've noticed. Most of the service stations, they don't have the same price, retail price for diesel through the entire month. It does change.
Yeah. Warren, Taka, you're calling us from Pine Haven. Good morning.
Hi, Clement. How are you doing?
I'm all right, man. Go ahead.
Clement, I've got a question quickly. So I run trucks in the Northern Cape. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm speaking from experience right now. There's no diesel there. Trucks have been standing by since the weekend. And this is now obviously with wholesalers, so your commercial customers. They're not getting diesel from the majors. I've heard the voice note from one of the majors where the guy out and out just said, look, we've got a contract with our retail customers to supply them with product first. The commercial guys, we'll supply them if and when we can. However, the retail guys come first. Now, this to me doesn't make sense because South Africa, the way South Africa is currently set up, everything is moved by truck. The minute the diesel starts running dry in Mpumalanga and the trucks cannot take coal anymore to the power stations, then load shedding is going to start. So I just want to understand, why is it that the majors have decided to do that? And like I said, I'm speaking from experience. I have trucks that are standing there dry. We're waiting for deliveries to come to the wholesalers so the wholesalers can then fill up. We can fill up at the wholesale sites. So that's my question.
Thank you for the question, Warren. Avhapfani?
So, Clement, when you plan for your demand, when you plan to supply your own market as a supplier, the only thing that is clear to you is the contracted volumes. So you plan for the people that you have, commercial supply agreements with. Only if you've got volumes, after you have serviced all the contracted volumes, then that's what you will normally sell on the spot to people that are not contracted to you. That's just how you plan, because if you can't plan for the demand that you don't know, for people who don't always buy to you. So it's just like the way planning it works in the industry. You only have a definite amount of volumes that you can plan for on the basis of the contract that you have.
Yeah, no, got it. Avhapfani Tshifularo, thank you so much for speaking to us. I really appreciate it. And Warren Tuck, I hope that just answers your question. Avhapfani is the Chief Executive at the Fuel Industry Association of South Africa. So, are you satisfied with that? They seem to say, we don't have a reason to panic. So calm down, that's their message, and wait for our messaging. We still have lots of supply. We're not running out. In fact, he says that together with government, they've been trying to communicate that we are sorted for about 2 months. So the month of April is fine, the month of May, even June. And what they're trying to plan for now is the month of July, should this war in the Middle East prolong further. So that's what they're saying. I wonder if it helps you out in any way.